Good evening. How are you doing? My name is Joseph Googie. I am one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, which is a pre-PT platform that is meant to help you as a pre-PT get accepted into PT school without wasting time or money. Now, as always, I'd like to welcome a lot of the new students. Anyone who is new that has just recently joined this page. What's up, Jennifer? How you doing? If you are new to this page, welcome. You are in the right community. You are in the right place. This is a pre-PT community primarily, and the goal is to just be around people who are not only aspiring to get to where you are, but also get guidance while you're going there. And every single Thursday night, myself and Casey Coleman, who you'll see in just a few seconds. What's up, Paul? How you doing? We come into this group live to make sure that you are well served, well taken care of, dealing with a lot of the things that we speak to our students who are in the acceptance system about. So really a lot of the problems that many pre-PTs face that hold them back. And tonight is a very, very special topic. But if you're joining us live, if you're watching this on replay, I want you to comment, say hashtag team live. If you're watching this on replay, say hashtag team replay. Mainly because when you comment, it actually keeps the video popping up because we want to make sure that it helps as many people as possible. Jakari, how are you doing? Let me let Casey on here, y'all. All right. So good to see you, my friend. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this on replay, just comment hashtag team live, hashtag team replay. And if you ever have any questions, or if you're like, man, there's a particular topic that I would love if you and Casey would talk about, Joseph, feel free to message us at contact3ptgrind.com. Be like, hey, y'all, like, this is a topic that I would love addressed, and we would be more than happy to come in here live and just take care of y'all at the highest level possible. Man, good to see you. Yes, Lynn, good to see you as well. Great to have you all here on this fine Thursday evening. Casey, let me try to bring you on again. Let's see. All right. Casey, let me know when you're ready, boss. Let me know when you're ready. So what we're trying to do, y'all, is we're trying to bring Casey on here. But tonight's topic is one that every single one of you, hold up, it might be bringing him on. Let's see. All right. I think we might be. So Casey, it's already saying that it's adding you. But while it's adding Casey, Cassie, good to see you. If you're live, just comment hashtag team live. I want to be able to, I want to shout out your name. I want to make sure that I acknowledge that you're here. But tonight we're talking about your best asset as a pre-PT working against you. And this topic is really based off of a conversation that I had with a student on Monday morning. And I'll break that down in just a little bit. Let's see if Casey is able to hop on. I'm not sure what's going on with, Facebook acts up sometimes. So Facebook doesn't allow this to go through. I'll start diving in. Hopefully it adds Casey on afterwards. But Casey, let me see. Let's try it one more time, boss. All right. So if it doesn't work this time, I'm gonna take it. Oh, there we go. What's up, boss? How you feeling?
I'm alive. I'm here. It worked.
Yes,
I made it.
Man, I see you got a nice haircut.
It was time. It was about like 2 months or so. So it was time.
It was needed, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yo, I love it. Andre, good to have you here. Andy, good to have you here. Casey, tonight we're talking about, as a pre-PT, your best asset as a pre-PT may be working against you. So your best asset as a pre-PT may be working against you. For those of y'all that are alive, now there's a lot of things that we said are good assets. How many of you, let me ask you this question. How many of you are applying this cycle? If you're applying this cycle, be like me. Just say me. Just say me. If you're applying right now, if you're applying this cycle, just say me. Just comment me in the comments. I want to know who's applying this cycle, because everything we're about to share tonight is for students that are in the application grind right now. If applying for you is 2 years from now, you're not really feeling the pressure, right? So you're in the right group because you're learning all this stuff ahead of time. But for those of y'all that are applying right now, you feel it. Like you feel it, Thomas. Like yes, when you feel the pressure. You know like what it feels like to submit to PT Cast or to double check everything with the school or to try to retake your GRE. Like you're in the grind right now. And so if that is you, just comment me below. Because I want to know who that is. And out of those of you that are applying this cycle, how many of you have been extremely afraid to if every like okay, so I'm gonna kind of speak some thoughts, right? So how many of you have ever had the thought cross your mind, man, if things don't go the way I want them to go, there's a lot of people that I'm going to let down. Yes, Lynn, have you ever thought of that? F. Scott, good to see you. If you're watching this live or if you're watching this on replay, how many of you have ever had the thought, man, if things don't go my way, I'm going to let some key people down. Those key people might be your parents. Those key people might be yourself. Those key people might be maybe a PT that you shadowed with. Maybe it's classmates. Maybe it's a significant other. If you're married, it could be a spouse. So Thomas says somewhat. Yes, Lynn says definitely. And the reason why we're talking about this tonight will not be a long live stream, but I cannot emphasize what we're about to share with you tonight. Like, if you're watching this right now and you're like, yo, somebody that I know, Alexa, how you doing? Like, you're like, man, somebody that I know is struggling with this currently and they really need to hear this. Just like share this with them afterwards, tag them afterwards, whatever you need to do. Jeremy, good to see you. But that is so I had a conversation. With a student because we coach students in the accepted system that y'all see up there. You know, we always promote it. It's our coaching program. But I was speaking with one of my students who was having a very, very hard weekend. And he was just overwhelmed. And as we were talking on the phone, he's like, Joseph, man, like I know I have to do this, and this. He's kind of listing out all the things that he knew he had to take care of. But he's like, man, like I just don't know. Like I'm starting to ask myself if I should start thinking about next cycle. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like in my head, I was like, wait, it's like as far as I remember, it's still September. Like, why are we thinking about next cycle if you're applying right now? And he's like, to be honest, Daniel, thank you for joining us. Sheik, Lauren, Judy, good to have all of you here tonight. But this student said, Joseph, like, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, but like it's like I'm starting to feel like things might not go how I planned. And I said, okay, you know what? Like because one thing I've realized, y'all, is that whenever we're scared or terrified or anxious about something, like there's always something else, right? So it had become this thing that he had built up that had actually started to overwhelm him to the point where he had decided, you know what? Like I don't know if this is the cycle. Now, this student had also gone through a few other things personally, but when we broke it down, I said, like, why? Like, what is it? What is it at the surface? Like, what is it that you're really scared of? And then he said it. He said, like, I'm really scared. Megan, good to see you. He said, I really feel like I'm going to let a lot of people down this cycle. So I said, tell me more. He's like, I really have, like, the people closest to me, I'm actually, like, y'all, this was today's Thursday. This was on Monday this week. He said, I really feel like I'm going to let some serious people down. And I said, who do you believe you're going to let down? Because in my head, I'm just like I just want to break things down. Whenever you're overwhelmed, and I shared this with our students this morning, if you're ever overwhelmed, the first thing you want to do is just start breaking it down. Like, let's get down to the reason why. And he said, like, I'm afraid of letting down my girlfriend because, and he listed it. He said, these are the things that she has done, like, for me over, like, through my journey. And if I somehow don't get in, then I feel like I'm going to, like I'm going to be letting her down as if it was all in vain. He said to me, he's like, I'm afraid of letting you down, Joseph. I'm afraid of letting Casey down. And I was like, whoa. So I didn't even expect that. He's like, well,
like y'all have poured so much into me that like if I don't get in, I feel like I'll be letting y'all down. Like you guys have equipped me with what I need, and then somehow I don't show up. So I'm afraid of letting you down. And I was like, I just let him talk. I was like, who else? He's like, my immediate family. And like one thing that I want y'all to hear tonight is that like the biggest thing that was holding him back, and y'all, this is a brilliant pre-PT, a brilliant like y'all. I'm talking like I've read letter of recommendation kind of brilliant, like a brilliant student. And I quickly realized I was like I had to like assess my life, and I realized, shoot, the people he's afraid of letting down are the people that like literally have equipped me to do the stuff I do today. Like I started mirroring everything. I was like, my wife, dang, literally the stuff that goes through my head is I could come on a live stream with Casey. We get no views, no likes, no comments, but after we stop recording, my wife is waiting for me, and we probably gonna watch a movie, live our best lives, and enjoy our evenings. I know for a fact that I could have the worst day in the clinic, but my wife is always ready to go. You know what? It's my wife and my puppy, because dogs are always excited to see, you know, their humans, right? So I was like, man, and then my family, I was like, shoot, the people that he's saying that he's scared of letting down are the people that actually give me my fuel. I was like, oh my goodness, like he's got this all wrong. So I asked him, I was like, you really believe that you'll let these people down? So I said, you know what, let me solve one real quick. You can't let me down, bro. So I told him, I was like, you can't let me down. I know how much work you put in. Like, whatever happens, there's no way for you to let me down. Then I said, if you don't get in, will your girlfriend leave you? He was like, no. I was like, will she yell at you for not getting in? He's like, no. Will she express disappointment? He's like, no. So what will she do? She'll probably just try to pick me back up. Interesting. Like, your immediate family, are they just gonna abandon you? He's like, no. I was like, man, you've been creating like, and then I said, have any of them ever told you that you would disappoint them? Like, has the people that matter? Now, if it's people that don't matter, those are the ones that are usually telling you a bunch of crap. I was like, the people you're scared of disappointing, has any one of them ever said, I will be disappointed in you if you don't get into PT school? And he said, no. I was like, so you created it in your head, bro. I was like, those are supposed to be your biggest assets. The people closest to you are you can't let them down. You're too afraid to disappoint them. Zacchaeus, how you doing? And as pre-PTs, that's like, this is so important for you to understand tonight. Like, as pre-PTs, when we're so afraid to disappoint the people closest to us, we're actually putting up a wall. Like, we're putting ourselves into a cage that nobody else has created for us. And as a pre-PT, you are freest when you know that regardless of what happens, the people around you are going to support you. That's actually when you play your best. So one analogy that I use a lot is this. Like, when I used to play basketball, right, y'all, I was not like the best basketball player or nothing on my team. I'm not. I could play ball, but I wasn't like, you know, high flying. No, I wasn't doing anything crazy. But what I do know is that there was two players on my team that always had the green light, which means that for those of y'all that don't watch basketball, it means that they could pretty much do whatever they wanted and the coach would keep them in, right? I did not have the green light. So for me, like, what I realized is the games that we were down initially, at least my first year playing ball, I would actually do badly. When I was under pressure, right? And it took years for me to understand this. Justin, what's up? Like, it took me years to understand this, but I would do poorly when I was under pressure simply because I was so aware of what everybody else would think. So in my head, I was like, shoot, if I miss this, coach is going to bench me, which was true because he was heartless. but then my classmates are going to, you know, make fun of me tomorrow in class. My parents are going to be like, dang, we've invested, you know, in our kid being on this team. Like, is this a waste of time? My teammates, I thought I was letting my teammates down. So what would happen is when I go to shoot, I wouldn't shoot freely. Like, for those of y'all that play basketball, I know Casey plays ball. When you're shooting freely, it's like when you're playing a pickup game where it doesn't really matter. Like when you shoot freely, you actually like have the best form. Nothing is tight. Nothing, and when as a pre-PT, when you're so concerned, just like the student was, when you're so concerned about letting the people closest to you down and not using them as your asset, as your push, you actually end up making mistakes, like silly mistakes. Silly mistakes, kind of like, well, not doing the right things to prepare for the GRE. Maybe you prepare for the GRE very well, but you actually perform poorly because you're so concerned about what other people are going to think. The people that you should be like so confident in the sense that they are going to be there for you regardless. Y'all, that is the most amazing feeling ever. When you know, like, oh my gosh, like tonight, I want y'all to literally make a list. Who are the people that actually matter? Not your classmates that are talking trash, not your advisor. No, who are the people that actually matter? Okay, mom, dad, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, like best friend. Who are the people that actually matter? And ask yourself, is it possible, is it in any way possible for me to actually let them down? No. So you should actually feel like I said in basketball, you should feel like you have the green light to just go off and be you. You should feel like you have the green light because you have people behind you. You have key people behind you that are saying, yo, whatever happens, we got you. And what's funny about that is, in the same way that my two teammates had that green light, you ultimately have the pre-PT green light. Which means now all of a sudden, a lot of the things that you built up in your head, the stress, the anxiety that you built up, actually starts to fade away because you have the right system, you have the right people around you to keep lifting you up. Y'all, this thing is not easy. This thing is not easy. And if we lie to ourselves believing that this is going to be a cakewalk into PT school, well, then we got another thing coming for us. What Casey and I are here to show you is that, y'all, it ain't easy. But you have to use certain things to your advantage if you want to be willing or able to push long enough to finally get that email that says, we are pleased to inform you that you've been accepted into our Doctor of Physical Therapy class. Does that make sense to everybody? If that makes sense, comment makes sense. If that makes sense, if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on replay, if that makes sense, comment makes sense below. Casey, what are your thoughts on that, boss?
Man, we need a shirt that says "We are pleased to inform you." We got to tag Andrew Tran or Kaylee or any of his new interns. That'd be a dope shirt. We are pleased to inform you. That'd be dope. But just yeah. Just let them know. But echoing your points that you made is it's one. I've talked about this before on a live whatever a while ago. Like what's the worst that can happen? And you mentioned that before. And in my live stream a while ago, I mentioned that I am literally, and people we've had on our podcast before, I'm literally the worst that can happen. And what am I? I'm a physical therapist right now. So the worst that can happen is that even if you fail, or we don't like to use fail, even if you have a setback, the worst that can happen is that you'll become a physical therapist.
Yeah.
It might take a little longer. You might stumble, hit a few obstacles, fine. Happened to me, happened to many people. But the worst that can happen is that you become a physical therapist. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? So that's just number one. And number two, from what you were telling me, Joseph, from the story, it sounds like he was not trying to make it about himself. But what I was really hearing is that he was. Meaning this, like, it's not about you. And you guys try to say it to us all the time, but until you really internalize it, it's not really going to change. So meaning it's not really about you, because I say that because in your example, you were saying, what are they going to think of me? What happens if I let them down? How are they going to view me? What's going to happen to me? A lot of that was in that sentence, was in that story. Instead of using them, like you said, as fuel, if it was really about them, it was really about your why, if it was really about your patience, you would use them as fuel. But instead, your focus is so much on you and what you are not going to do that you're scared to use the people closest to you, like Joseph said, as assets to work for them to reach your dream of becoming a physical therapist. You're still so focused on what they're going to think about you, what the other pre-PTs are going to think about you, what your accepted system family is going to think about you, what whoever's going to think about you. All the focus is still on you. It's what it sounds like to me. Instead of it being about your patients, about your family, like you said, it's supposed to be. If it really was, I feel, I could be wrong, but personally, I feel if it was really about them, you would be like, man, shoot, let me get this done. Let me do this. Let me make this happen because it's about them. And I don't want to let them down like I said I don't. Now I get emotions are still there. You know, things go, I get it because I was there. I don't know if you guys forgot, but myself and Joseph were pre-PTs once. So it's not like I'm just saying this out of nowhere and I'm coming off hard, but if it was really about them, would you use them as fuel? Or are you so focused on yourself and what you're not going to do that you get so scared and become something that you're not even supposed to be in this application cycle? So those are just the two things that were running through my mind. Is one, the worst that can happen is that you'll become like me because I didn't get in the first time. You're still going to become a physical therapist, even if you have a setback, whatever that is. And number two, it's not about you. So prove it. It's not about you, so make it not about you. I won't get in. How will they think about me? How will they when we get on these live streams, it's not about us. It's not about if I had notes done earlier. It's not about if I prepared well enough. It's not about if I got a haircut or not. Y'all saw me with my big old bush last week and the weeks before. It's not about me. It don't matter. You are here for what we're trying to do for you. And that was our motivation to come on here and push and give you free stuff throughout all our platforms. Whether you get in through our paid stuff or not, it's not about us. So when you're having these thoughts, just remember that. Because it's easy to say, yeah, my why is other people, my why is my family, but it's, as you know, as you hear from this story, it's easier said than done. It really is. And it's going to take practice. It's going to take internalization of that real idea of that thought. So practice and actually use that, like Joseph said, as fuel to do it for them. Do it for them because it's not about you. It's really not. So those were only my 2 points that came to me. And when I really read through the story in between the lines, it's what I really gathered through that. And I know a lot of other people might be going through it too. I know I went through it. So use those as best as you can. So that's pretty much it.
Boom, boom. If you're watching this right now, Gail, what's up? Jimmy, good to see y'all. Like, if you're watching this live right now, I want y'all to just comment exactly what he said. Comment below. If you're like, man, I get it. Comment below, it's not about me. It's not about me. Because it can't be. Like, it really can't be. And what we're trying to help y'all do. What's up, Michael? How you doing? Just comment. It's not about me. Because what we're trying to help you do is this. Understand that there's only two ways to grow. Actually, there's three paths. The first path is you fall and you just kind of say, well, I guess this is fate. This is how things are supposed to be. And you use that as your excuse to stay down. Man, let's freaking get it. The second one is you fall yourself and you kind of hit the worst case scenario and you feel like, hey, okay, well, this is as bad as it gets. Maybe I can do it again. Maybe I can't. Well, okay. So now you felt the worst possible scenario. So that's Casey's experience. Or the third route is you can say, maybe I don't have to feel
Exactly.
the worst case.
Exactly.
In order to lesson. What we're trying to help y'all prevent is we don't want y'all to listen, y'all. Like I get it. Like we all have different stories. Some of you have been rejected before. Some of you have low GPAs. Some of you are struggling like crazy with the GRE. Like those things are normal. That's why you're all here. That's why there's 4.2 thousand of you inside of this community. Like if there was just 5 of y'all, then you'd be like, dang, okay. Like is it just me? Is it just us? Are we weird? No. Like there's a lot of you, and there's many more. But what we're trying to prevent you from having to do is, I don't want you. What's up, Lauren? Like I don't want you to have to always learn from experience. Experience is good. Experience is good. And the thing is, you're all going to have your own experience anyway. But if you can learn how to look, like the lens that you would have to look to if that you would have to look through if you were in the worst case scenario, which is getting rejected or maybe like not getting into your top school, whatever that is. Once you're there, obviously, then there's nowhere else to go but up, kind of like Casey's situation. But you don't have to feel that in order to know how to act. Does that make sense? So for every single one of you that's applying now, if you're applying next year, use the people closest to you as an asset. Now, the biggest thing is that sometimes they're not an asset. Sometimes they really aren't. Sometimes they really don't understand what you're going through. And sometimes you really do feel alone. And those, I mean, that's why we're here, because we understand that that's like, not everyone is blessed with people around them that are willing to bat for them and, swing for their dreams regardless of what happens. And they're probably going to be the first to tell you, hey, you might want to pull the plug or whatever. If that's who you have around you, then use your online family to your advantage. Heck, if you need to talk to us, contact us. Like, let's talk. Go to contactpreptgrind.com. But the biggest thing is we want you to make sure that the people that are closest to you, and it always has to be people that you know in your heart of hearts that you know will always pick you back up regardless of what happens. Having more of those people in your corner and understanding that that's why they are in your corner, and also knowing that regardless of what goes down, they got your back, will actually free you to decide and actually do things in a way that will ultimately get you into PTs. Same reason why we're successful with pre-PT grind. We have people in our corner that are like, yo, y'all crush it or you don't, we still got you. And because we have that, we play so free. That's why Casey and I can come on here. We can say whatever we want to say, because in our like, we know it's not about us. We know we just want to pour into you, but we also know nobody's telling us what to say or what not to say. And we don't want that. Like, I don't need someone telling me what to say. We just want to be able to freely do what we do best, and that is serve you at the highest level possible. So that's it for tonight. Dom, good to see you. That's it for you tonight, and I hope that you take that to heart. If you just showed up to this live stream later, I hope you watch this again, because this message was for somebody. And I know that because we see, the reason why we talked about this before is because it happens to so many of us, but many times we're afraid to share it. Many times we don't even recognize that that's what's holding us back. But if you listen tonight and you're like, ooh, those are some of the traits that I have, then realize that what we shared tonight is how to regain that control back. And if you're still stuck, feel free to reach out to us at contactpreptgrind.com. Let's talk. Let's help you get into PTs. You have an absolute